Thank you. Thank you.
You are quite welcome, Brittany. So excited to be able to talk to you and not only to hear, but also to share with other people. I know that I've heard your journey, which has been impressive, and I've shared that with you, but what a great opportunity for you to be able to share that with so many others within our community who are looking at this industry, but also a moment to kind of pop your collar, right? One of the things I've learned, Brittany, in the entrepreneurial space is that there are not a lot of places where we are celebrated, and it's okay. You know, sometimes it feels like people tolerating our success versus really being there as cheerleaders and letting us show up authentically, transparently, and saying like, it's okay to win. It's okay to win also, right? And so thank you for being open to sharing. But I'm going to start with you just kind of sharing your background, like pre-staffing. Can we start there?
Absolutely. So pre-staffing, I was a registered nurse. I worked in long-term care. I've always had a soft spot for geriatrics. So with me being a registered nurse, I worked the floor. I was promoted to unit manager. I became the director. I became the educator, and then I became director of nursing. So those are just some of the things that I did pre-staffing.
And what was the catalyst? What made you think about, first of all, being an entrepreneur at all? And the second part of that question, why was staffing attractive to that process?
I would say, of course, with a lot of people, COVID came in and changed everything. So I was a director of nursing at the time when COVID happened, and I just noticed that everything was changing. Things that we were doing as nurses, like we were not even like doing anymore. Everything changed, just the use of a mask. So I knew something was missing. And with talking with my husband and my pastor, I just said I wanted to start with staffing because we did use a lot of staffing with the facility that I was working with. So I worked a lot with agency, having to call them for our needs, needing staff at the last minute. So I was working hand in hand with the scheduler and with quite a few staffing agencies. So that's what really piqued my interest into staffing.
And where did you get the courage? Like, was there an inciting event that like, because in full transparency, right? You've heard my story quite a few times. It's like, I always wanted to start something. I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but it like literally took that pink slip day, right? Because I would have been trying to hold on to my job and side hustle all my life, right? Mm-hmm. Until that like inciting moment, that was kind of like the moment of decision. Did you have a moment like that? Or what was your experience with going from the conversation to actually being able, like the activation, like, okay, now I'm doing it for sure?
For me, it was the line that I walked. So being the director of nursing, like, of course, you're in charge and responsible for the facility, but then you're also in charge of the nursing staff. So me being able to hear like some of the issues that staff was having and then seeing some of the issues that facilities were having, I just got the idea, like if I started a staffing agency, I can meet the both of them together. So I can afford to pay staff more money, and then I can provide the staffing to the facility that needs it. So that was my aha moment. It's like, let's take those two things and let's put those together so that we can solve a problem, especially during a pandemic.
Awesome. So you married the problem and the solution.
Absolutely.
That is so good. That's so good. Like, I'm not biased at all at this point, right? I just love staffing firms that are doing great work, but there's always something to be said about individuals who are in the work and are there with the problems that say, like, have that light bulb moment, like, okay, there's got to be a better way. And now like tag, I'm it, like, I'm going to figure out that way. So that is very notable. And I'm glad that you shared that with us. Where did you find the courage? Now I'm going to be real, Brittany, you know, I'm going to be real, right? Like that all sounds great. But the actual, when it goes from our head to actually doing it, it takes courage, right? It takes, like, there's a lot more that happens. So where did you find that courage? Yes, this could be a good thing, but to actually doing it, like, where did that courage come from?
My courage actually comes from my family, my husband and my children. Like, just knowing that they told me that everything was okay. If I wanted to quit working, they support me 100%. And then, like I said, my pastor, just talking to him, he's an entrepreneur as well. So just talking to him and like bouncing ideas, like they really gave me that push. Without them, I know I wouldn't have done it because I would have been too scared. So just knowing that they had my back 100%, 1000% is what really pushed me to do it and start.
Awesome. And I know that you had went through, like, can you talk about your track into the healthcare staffing arena? Because you didn't just jump into it blindly. I'll have a great deal of respect for entrepreneurs that are like, listen, I'm going to get information. I'm going to get wisdom. I'm not going to try to DIY this, or I know that probably sounds cliche, but what was your track to actually getting into healthcare staffing specifically?
And I know I've shared this with you before, but when I was a director of nursing, I would receive these emails and I would see this woman with a black dress with pearls on, and it was saying launch your own staffing agency. And I was like, okay, that sounds pretty good. Like I'm gonna look into it. So I always saved your emails. And I was like, I'm going to look at it eventually. And then I just really had that aha moment that it was just time for me to look at this email and really put in the work. And I didn't just want to go out there and figure it out on my own. Like I wanted someone that was successful. I wanted someone that know what they were talking about, what they were doing, to actually teach me as well. So it was your emails that I would get, that I would read, and really is why I chose you as well, because I know that you've been in the game and I've read the emails of how you started and things like that. So that's what pushed me to take your course too.
Yeah, when you said black dress and pearls, I was like, I might know her. I'm like, I might know her. She sounds familiar. So you initially started with one of our programs and launched your firm. Let's talk about when you actually launched, and then let's just kind of share where you are from launching to some of the milestones, like how many staff members do you have? If you want to share some of your like just what you want to share in terms of mile markers for your success in this industry thus far.
Okay, so I took your course in January of 2021, and we were scheduled to open in March of 2021, but we received our first contract before we were even scheduled to open. But like I said, taking your course, we were ready. We just we didn't prepare to open our doors until March, but we had everything in place, our contract, we were ready. So we started staffing February 24th of 2021. And then since then, everything just pretty much took off. Fast forward, like, do not stop, just keep going. And we now have 35 clients that we staff for. And we have about 125 employees. We've had as much as 880 employees during the pandemic. So we have been very, very busy, especially during that first year. And so we just celebrated our second year this year, which was January 7th. So we are so proud that it's been 2 amazing, amazing years.
Well, let me say this, Brittany, because I'm not going to put your business out there. I know, but I know how to do math, and everybody here does too, but we've crossed some 7s. Would that be correct?
Absolutely. We saw our first 7 figures, our first year in 2021.
Yeah. I remember when you emailed and I'm just like, who is she? Like, what happened, right? Because the trajectory was amazing. And so thank you for sharing that, guys. 800 employees, right? 35 facilities. Brittany is amazing. And I'm so honored because I've had the continued opportunity to work with her here recently, but she's doing some great work. So Brittany, you know, this is for our Enterpriser Award. And so what is it that you want to share, or that you want those who are listening to know about your journey and know about you in consideration of that?
I would say something that people should know about me is that before taking your course, like, I was a very shy person. I was the one that was always in the background. Like, even just doing this for me is just so much out of my comfort zone that I just love it. And just knowing that starting your own staffing agency, it can be amazing. And like, you just have to be fearless. And that's one thing I am, like, I'm not afraid to fail. That's okay, because I just know that the next time I come back, I'm going to have a different perspective, different strategies, new techniques. And even just something about me, I noticed that I love the word no now. So for me, no is not no, it's not right now. So I'm going to figure out a way to get a yes from you. So that's just in a nutshell.
That's good. And we've talked about professionally, like those are certainly great, right? But you know that I eat my own cooking. And I always, you and I have had this conversation. I hope you don't mind me sharing this, because I always talk about balance. Like I don't want to help you build a business that's amazing, and then your marriage is falling apart, your kids are all undone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so how has you deciding to start this business and seeing this success, what impact has that had on your family that you would like to share? How has this been beneficial to your family unit as a whole?
I would say it's been very beneficial to my family. I would say the first thing we did as a family was we donated 6 figures to a non-for-profit. That was the biggest thing I would say that we accomplished as a whole. We were able to vacation. Another reason why I took your course was because me working as a DON, I tried to go on vacation at a company that I worked for, and they declined. And I hadn't taken a vacation in like 5 years. And I just wanted to like take my kids to Disney and then spend a week with my husband. That's the only thing I wanted to do. So that was why I took your course initially as well. And so now we can vacation, which we have. I can spend more time with my children. I even started volunteering at a women's shelter in my area where I grew up. And like, those are the things that I can do now, because I can step away from the business and volunteer my time and spend time with my family. Vacation, we volunteer more in church. Like, we're just able to do so much. It's freedom. We're able to be free of our time and just to focus on other things. Like, we've even been able to start other businesses and things with my children that they are actually employees of. So it's just overall, it's been an amazing journey with my family, with my pastor, my church family. It's amazing. I can't even really put it in words sometimes. It's amazing.
Brittany, let me say this, right? And I've said this to you before, but I want to say this to you publicly. I am so proud of you. I really am. I remember how you showed up, remember our conversation, and I'm looking at you now and I'm going, who is she? Who is she? And so sometimes people ask, like, you know, I'm very confident. I show up, I'm talking about money and all these things. And sometimes people are like, do you have to do all that? And I'm like, yeah, I absolutely do. Because I know that inside of each one of us, there's another person that is dying to get out. And until somebody like shows up, not to create a mini me, but to introduce you to yourself, a lot of times we stay stuck. So now I'm like feeling like I'm meeting you for the first time.
It's all about mindset. And I know that's one of the things that we went over in your course. And like, just the things that I've learned, like, I apply those every day. Like, I didn't just take your course, like, I apply it to my life every single day. And like, it's all about mindset. Like, you can change everything. You just have to change your mindset first, and it will follow.
Absolutely. Well, Brittany, thank you so much. Once again, I'm incredibly proud of you guys. Can we show Brittany some love and hearts in the comments and just let her know that we appreciate her and she's doing the work? It is one thing to be a part of an online community, a program, get mentorship. It is something different in and of itself to implement and execute at the level that Brittany has, and she's continuing to learn and grow and develop herself as a leader. So that is not something that we want to pass over. We certainly want to encourage you, Brittany, and thank you for sharing today and being a panelist here for our Enterpriser Award.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
You are quite welcome.